I'd like to call the Hammond Redevelopment Commission meeting to order on this Tuesday, February 20th, 2018. It's now 4:31 for the record. Can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence after? Commissioner DeVejas, can you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can we have a roll call on the commissioners?
So Presley,
Here.
Gasparzicki,
Here.
Navejas,
Here.
Myrick, Helpage.
Here, for the record, we have 4 present and 1 absent. Okay, number 3, declaration of conflict of interest. Okay, number 4, communications.
There was one.
Okay, could you read that, please, for us?
It was from a gentleman named Stephen Livermore, and it says, "Dear Mr. Helpridge, I own a 2-bedroom home on 1035 Kenwood. I have been maintaining the land at 1037 Kenwood, the land east of me, for the past 6 years. I'm writing to get permission to legally own this piece of land to expand my home into a 3-bedroom bi-level home. I was informed that I would need to write a letter to the Community Development Department to get information on obtaining the land. I would appreciate an opportunity to meet with you to discuss the possibility of obtaining the land at 1037 Kenwood."
Okay, I don't think we need any action on this. We'll just refer this to staff.
Sure.
And if you could, give the gentleman and the lady a response on that.
Sure. And I'll follow up with you and let you know the response.
Right, number 5 is our minutes from January 16th, 2018.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes for the Hammond Redevelopment Commission for January 16th, 2018.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second from January 16th, 2018 minutes. Is there any corrections, any additions to these minutes? Okay, roll call on the minutes.
Soto Presley,
Yes.
Gasparzicki,
Yes.
Navejas.
Yes.
Myrick, Helpridge.
Yes, motion passes. 4 yes, 1 absent. Okay, number 6 is our homebound conditional forgivable loan approval. Looks like we have 5 applicants.
Yes, 4 of the 5 applicants are present. Jenny Diego is running late.
Okay, no problem. Can they just come forward and just a quick hello, introduce themselves, and
Hello, my name is Jessica Flores.
Good afternoon. I'm Santos Sanchez.
My name is Noemi Saavedra.
Hello, I'm Joshua Orlando.
okay, welcome all of you.
I I'm going to start from the top here. Ms. Flores, can you tell us where you heard about our program?
From my loan officer, Aaron Stokes from People's Bank.
Peoples? Okay. We're pretty proud of our program, so we like to kind of pay attention to who's working with us. How about the teacher Sanchez? By the way, 3 teachers, very nice, thank you.
I have a couple of friends that actually got their first home in Hammond through the Dollar Payment Program.
So just word of friends?
Yes.
That's good too. How about Joshua?
I heard it through I worked for the Port Authority, Hammond Port Authority, so I heard it through them, and then I heard it just from other people that got it.
And last but not least, Saavedra?
Yes, I heard also from my lender, Bank of England. Mr. Scott.
I'm sorry, Bank of,
England?
wow. All right, very good. Like I say, and everybody's a first-time home buyer?
Yes.
That's all the questions I have. Mr. President, I move we approve the conditional forgivable loan approval for the present four candidates.
I second that.
Okay, I guess there's a motion and a second for the four candidates that are present. I don't know if you want to retract that motion, and the fifth candidate is not here he's running late, so if you don't approve it, then I guess you'll have to come to a future meeting.
Do we know if that'll interfere with closing in any way, shape, or form?
I'm not sure of her closing date right offhand, but it could possibly interfere with it.
Normally, we just approve them and they come to a future meeting, but it's your option.
I'm not, but, then, Mr. President, I amend my motion to include all five candidates, subject to, coming at a future date for for Jenny Diego.
We have
I
a
second that.
Okay. We have a new motion and a second for the four applicants that are present, along with Jenny Diego that is absent, as long as she attends a future meeting if she does not make it tonight. Okay, can we have a roll call on that?
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Kasperzicki?
Yes.
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick? Halpert?
Yes, motion passes. 4 yes, 1 absent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, good luck, and welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's do this.
The applicants, you could be excused if you like. Okay, moving along is number 7. We got a subordination request approval. We also have 2.
Yes, both are present.
Can they come forward?
Hello, my name is Cheryl.
Let's start with Cheryl Clark, please.
Yeah.
I see the refinance and the shortened amount, and of course that makes sense, and you're gonna pay off a couple credit cards. And then there's still a $6,000 approximate, money coming out. Is there an intent for that?
For some other things to be done in the house.
Such as,
The bathroom,
I'm sorry,
and the kitchen.
have you contacted a contractor for that?
No, not yet, because I didn't really know that I had extra money, because this was all in the air. I didn't know that it was coming to this.
Excuse me a minute. Question for the board. Our underwriting guidelines specifically state, which by the way, I love the guidelines, I'm gonna say thank you for them again. For purpose of lowering interest rates, rehab of property. Do we need some sort of a contractor's estimate for such and to show that that has been completed? Okay, again, and I agree with them, and like I say, I'm just reading the underwriting guidelines. I know she doesn't, I'm just saying, do we go on a good faith estimate, or, good faith word, or If not, we're doing cash-out refinances. We're subordinating to cash-out refinances.
So do we need to have some type of documentation first?
Well, that's my question.
And that's my question.
It's totally your call.
No, okay, I mean.
You have to look at the whole picture. I mean, it's not often that we approve cash out, but you have 90,000 being refinanced, an appraisal of 112. So that is, if I can do the math,
So that's 22. How much does she have it for us?
it's 80%.
Well, of course, right.
And then how much is owed on ours?
How much does she owe us?
It'd kind of be important to know.
What's the balance that she still owes us? See, because that would go into the debt ratio. Again, I mean, I'd like that we want to help people. I just, if we have underwriting guidelines, we're treading on them here, and I want to do it right. You know, because our debt is not included in balance owing.
You had a $25,000 mortgage in October of 2010.
Is that just the one part of it, though? Is that just the payment part, or is it both sides?
I'm looking at the title work because we don't have a figure, right? And the title work says payment and release of mortgage in the amount of $24,941.22 dated October 15th, 2010. So I don't, without looking at the documents, there's no way to answer that.
No, there's no way to answer that, but in 8 years, even if it went down 50%, which I assume we amortize over the full term of the loan, at best, it's 50%. So it's still another $10,000.
Excuse me. When the work was done on on my house or whatever, I was told that the amount was like 17,000. Like they didn't use the full amount that was, granted to me, or, you know. And I remember because there were other things I wanted possibly done to the house. And, I mean, like, that's why now that I'm, you know, trying to get the other money so I can fix what needs to be done. But I remember that for a fact. Because I always wondered where was that rest of that money going, or whatever, you know.
Yeah, but there's no way, I don't even know if there's any way we could figure out what happened 10 years ago with, and I mean,
It's just been over.
and then the liens for 25,000.
It's just been like over 5 years, just recently.
Right. Would it cause hardship if we tabled this till the next meeting?
I believe I would lose it because they already pushed it. I had spoke to Ms. Flores, and I know she said that they pushed it to ask would they give me till this week. Because there were so many days that from when I started the paperwork that it was supposed to be done, so they had pushed it back just so I could make this meeting.
So, just so I understand, we're refinancing 90,000, roughly 9,000 is going to credit cards. New mortgage of 76,000, which leaves rough math about 5,000 cash out. Is that what's gonna happen?
Yeah. I didn't, yeah, okay.
That's what it looks like.
Because all that wasn't, none of that, they said, they weren't sure about the cash out until they knew, like after they spoke to the people who are approving, or who, the underwriters or whoever, you know, was I gonna get the amount? You know, was there gonna be cash out, or whatever you call that?
Like I say, are we setting the standard here? But like I say, it seems to me like we are creating a minimum 90% loan-to-value situation, if not greater. And the greater is unknown, but I don't think it's less.
Well, it's not common, and I'm being generous by saying not common, that you would have allowed in the 10 years or so that I've been here, cash out. Not saying you can't do it. And I guess at a minimum, I'd want to know where the payment stream, I'd want to know where that mortgage, that second mortgage is at. And all those things would factor into whether or not, and I'd want a concrete explanation of where the cash out is going.
Well, that's
what
what
you're
I've been
saying.
saying kind of all along, and now we have some nice underwriting guidelines that they don't forbid cash out, but it certainly puts it to the venue of improving the property, for which case I'd like to know that $6,000 is actually gonna improve the property. Right. Yeah, and even the credit cards, by rights, is cash out.
Right,
That's right.
that's right.
So, I mean, we're balancing another place at that point.
Yeah, so that's 9,300 plus $6,000, basically. Because it's two cards that.
Correct. But like I say, and I understand, I mean, the bank is saying, okay, we'll give you the refinance if you pay off those credit cards. I get what they're doing. But is that within our scope? Because, and the one, they're putting the pressure on us. When we subordinate, we are the 20% that they're using for their slush fund.
Yeah.
Is what's happening. They've made the numbers fit by getting rid of the credit card debt, and that made the ratios okay. But then they still have the 20% that they're saying they're comfortable with. They made an 80% loan-to-value loan. They're saying we can always get our 80% back. The pressure, in the event, I hope nothing ever happens, may God bless, but in the event something happens, we're the ones that don't. So we are exceeding our underwriting guidelines.
With all due respect, if the work would have been done properly, I wouldn't be trying to get the money to fix some of the things. Only saying, they flooded my basement and nothing ever came of it. And my basement had just, with FEMA, not FEMA, the people who came in because it had got, flooded the one time from the storm. And they had did, where they came, tore down the walls and everything, had it all
Waterproof?
clean. Excuse me?
Waterproofed or put
Right.
drain tile in or
And
sump pump?
then the contractor, the plumber that was there, flooded my basement. I couldn't figure out how to turn off the water. Everything brand new was ruined again. And he had did a tie on a valve for the boiler that caused it to flood, like 4 to 5 inches. Couldn't get a hold of him. And then when I did, he was in the office with Gary, that was over, and we were getting into it over the phone. Granted, nothing ever came of it. They never came out to look at anything, they never came to see the damage that was done. And then I was upset, angry, because it was all nice work, everything was done. And then it just all got destroyed, the furniture, everything. And then coming on my job for me to sign check, like I was complaining about everything being done, like, and and that's why I just want things to get right with my house so I can continue to enjoy it. I mean, I don't plan on going nowhere, doing anything, you know.
Did we do the work?
Who did?
Did we do the work?
City of Hammond didn't do the work.
That's,
No.
I'm just making sure that.
No,
No, I'm just saying, but nothing was addressed when I called the city. It was like I was just kicked to the side. I want to do these things now myself. I want the work to be done properly, correctly, and, you know, come in and inspect. Is it right? Is it correct? You know, that's all you know what, that's what I want the money for, to get my house back to where I can enjoy that part.
I don't know that we could be the watchdog. When you hire a contractor, it's kind of,
I didn't hire, I didn't get, they said it was the lowest bidder got the job. But see, then I talked to other people, and that's what I'm saying, talked to other people, and they would say they got to pick. I did not get to pick. And it's all past now. I mean, it's 5 years past. It is what it is. I just want to get the part fixed, that's all.
Who,
well, again, I feel sorry for the bad situation, but I don't think the city of Hammond was at fault in that.
But,
who hired your contractors?
Gary had said whoever was the lowest bidder was the one who got the job. Because I knew who I wanted. I knew the men who came out, I remember writing down, and I know I still have the piece of paper, because like I don't throw stuff away. So I know it's probably still in the envelope. But they said I couldn't get the company that I wanted because they bid too high. It had to go to the lowest bidder.
What kind of loan was this? What kind of loan was it originally? Emergency home loan? So that's why,
What was it? I didn't
Commissioner,
hear.
home loan, that's why I have you ask those questions
Right.
at every meeting when we award those home loans, that we don't guarantee the work.
those three basic
Between
questions. Mr. Myricks has helped us with that.
Yeah, he's got them memorized and blazing in his brain from being on the commission for so many years. But that's why we ask those questions. And I mean, it is totally a judgment call on your part. I think there are pieces of information to this puzzle that are missing, but you have the discretion to do, you could table it, you could approve it, you could request that information before you make another decision. It's really a judgment call that you have to make.
Who is in charge of deciding whether her loan can go through for her if we were to table it and not hurt her or not? Who is in charge of that? You mentioned
The
that-
financial institution.
The bank.
Darlene Flores, from BMO, was who I've been, you know, I was talking to.
Could we not have a conversation with,
Well, you know, our fiduciary is to the city of Hammond.
I can't hear you, Greg.
Our fiduciary is to the city of Hammond. Our fiduciary responsibility is to the city of Hammond. I mean, I feel for her as well, and I'm probably gonna abstain from voting on this because I walked in the middle of this. So, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but like I say, our fiduciary is to the city of Hammond and to the taxpayers. And I feel for you, I feel for
You know,
you.
but I didn't say, and because believe me, the work, though it still made my house look good. You know, the outside, I appreciate all the work that was done. I think the one thing that's bothered me though was hearing like that the amount, because I know for a fact that they did not use the full amount. I know.
And I'm not suggesting they did or didn't. I'm just reading off the title policy that says that they had a $24,000 mortgage, so they could have used less, okay? I don't know, but that's certainly a piece of information that this body could know as to what your and not even as much as how much you used, what is the outstanding balance as we sit here right now?
If I would have known, I could have brought probably all that paperwork in. I didn't think that I needed to bring everything that I had received from when we got on the program. You know, because I would have brought.
Do you know how much you pay Hammond?
$50 a month. How much do I pay?
Yeah.
$53 a month. It's like $52.96, and I just pay $53. And I paid for 5 years like that.
I'm sorry? Would you, so just to give us more information? We're gonna table this into this meeting, if you don't mind. She's gonna go try to find the actual loan amount that they owe the city of Hammond.
Yeah, I think that's important to table it right now and just try to get as much information as you can. If we can get it before the end of the meeting, then they'll have the information before the end of the meeting. If not, there still seems to be a lot of questions that go unanswered, so.
Is it anything like that I can help you answer, or is it?
Well, she's going down, this is the finance manager, ma'am.
Ms. Clark,
So
if you just have a seat for hopefully 10 minutes, we'll be back on your situation.
I'm gonna pull up the other one just in case.
Need a motion to table that?
I make a motion to table it. Second.
It's fine by Attorney Westland. We'll table that for now, and hopefully we can get some answers before the end of the meeting. Otherwise, I guess you can table to another meeting, or reject it, or approve it. All right, how about the other subordination request? We have Ann Robinson. How are you?
Fine.
Surprised that, oh,
No cash out for me.
No? Actually, according to this, there's about 3,000 cash out.
I'm not getting any cash out.
I'm sorry?
I'm not taking any cash out. All I want to do is refinance what I've got, pay down some of my credit cards on my own.
Well, like, according to this, it says the new finance mortgage amount is 62.5, and your current balance is 59.3. So that leaves $3,200. Now, it's possible that the bank is taking those, Greg.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well.
Maybe they might be all eaten up in closing costs, which is,
And a lot of times, people don't realize when they're doing things like this about their
right,
That is
costs.
closing costs.
Yeah.
right. I would call that well within range. I don't have a problem with this one, and no major questions. So,
Let's make a motion.
So is that a motion, or?
I was gonna see if anybody else had a question.
I'm
If there's no question,
fine.
Mr. President, I move we approve the subordination request for Ann Robinson.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Ann Robinson for the subordination request approval. Her address is 7436 Columbia Avenue. Can I have a roll call on that?
Soto Presley,
Yes.
Hasbricky,
Yes.
Navejas,
Yes.
Myrick,
Yes.
Hopperidge.
Yes, for the record, 5 yes. Commissioner Myricks is here now. Okay, thank you on that.
Excuse me, Miss Jenny Diego has come in.
Okay, we'll move back to number 6. We did approve it. Ms. Jenny Diego did show up. We appreciate you coming. We did pass your homebound. We just wanted you to attend the meeting. If you did miss it, you would have had to attend a future meeting, but we're glad you made it.
Ms. Diego, where'd you hear about our program?
My realtor,
Which is, may I ask who that is?
well, his name is Jose
Sanchez?
Sanchez.
Yeah, I know him. I'm a realtor as well, so yeah, I know Jose. Tell him, say, Mr. Gregg said hello.
All right, if Mr. Gregg says hello, it's okay by me.
Thank you for coming
And
in.
thank you for coming in.
I'm sorry,
Ah.
I was stuck in traffic.
Okay, appreciate that.
Yeah, I know traffic is bad today.
Okay, thank you. You may be excused if you like. Okay, we're gonna move to number 8. We've got an emergency loan policy and procedures.
Commissioners, recently a situation arose, and we just wanted some feedback from you as far as how you wanted us to handle the situation. We have an applicant that is applying for the emergency loan program. They previously received an emergency loan, however, they haven't made payments on it. Now, when I checked all the information pertaining to the emergency loan program, it states that if within 3 years, after a 3-year grace period, if someone would like to apply for the program again, they can if it's been paid for, if they pay the initial amount that they owe. However, they're applying after the 3-year grace period has expired. So I was wondering, what is the policy? Is there anything else that goes into play as far as with your decision making? Because if this person wants to apply again, and they currently have another loan with us, a home improvement loan, and Andrea can give more information regarding that. But what factors go into play, at least so we know at the staff level, or would you like issues like that brought before the commission?
So the loan that they had was paid as agreed and paid in full?
No, the emergency loan was not paid.
Didn't you start the
process.
kind of verbal underwriting that the underwriting says it needs to be paid in full as agreed before they can apply for another one?
No, because we just found out that recently, just found the paperwork on it recently, so I wanted to bring it before you all because it stated 3 years to be paid. If they wanted to reapply within the 3 years, then they would have to pay the deferred part. But it doesn't say that they have to pay it if they apply after the 3 years. So that's where we're kind of.
So it's a glitch in the.
So I think that's where our legal counsel comes in.
But I don't think we want to put ourselves in a third position. Is that kind of what we're saying? I mean, I would be almost adamantly against putting ourselves in a third position if that's where this is going.
Third position.
You'd be second and third.
What's that?
The third position.
Be second and third.
Well, second and a third is still a third.
Yeah, right.
It's extending our risk.
Is this the one that is late in our payments too?
She hasn't made
So the issue is that, you know, how would you view someone who hasn't made payments under an initial loan that then comes in, has another emergency, quote unquote, and needs another loan, right? How are you gonna view that? There's no specific guideline in our policy to cover a situation like that. And I think, you know, they did run it past me first, and I said it's gotta be the commission's call, because I think it's an easier question if somebody's making their payments all the way along on the initial loan.
Right.
Okay, and then they have another issue, and they come in and they say, whoa, you know, this happened X number of years after the first issue, but I had a deal with you before, I made my payments all the way along, or generally made my payments all the way along. But here we have a situation where somebody hasn't made their payments, and now they want another,
Hasn't made the payments as a delinquent status or as a not yet due and payable?
it's delinquent, right?
No, it's delinquent.
Well, then there's absolutely no reason to give another loan to a delinquent status.
I understand, but that's the 5 of your decision, and I couldn't make that decision myself.
To me, if they're not paid as agreed to us, I would have serious reservations in approving something else. And I understand the emergency situation, we want to help, but, I mean, I think we're just setting the wrong precedent by doing that. That's my opinion.
Personally, I tend to agree with you, but it's not a legal question. You know, that it's a question of policy for this board to determine.
Well, starting for discussion before I make a motion, I would add to the underwriting guidelines that we will not extend additional financing to a delinquent customer.
I agree.
That works with me.
So then let me recap in my head, because that's what I do as a teacher. I kind of have to roll it around again. Okay, so this person had a loan the first time, the first emergency loan. They didn't pay the first emergency loan, or they paid some of it.
They did not pay it. It's my understanding they didn't pay it.
It was home. The first one was an emergency one, and then they received a home loan.
So they have 2 loans with us now
That are not
that
paid.
they're past due on.
They have two that they.
Yes.
Okay, so let me be,
So this would be the 3rd loan for us.
Again,
would it,
go ahead.
okay, we're here to, oh, okay, anyway, okay, so what are, would it be a fair, we don't, well, okay, no. Yeah, okay, so delinquent on the 2 loans and one's another,
So what they're trying to do is close up the loophole,
I'm sorry?
trying to close up the loophole.
Right, because this is a challenge that we run into. The issue with the emergency loan is that the applicant doesn't come before the commission because it's an emergency.
Right.
So there's no approval process prior to us paying those funds out. So when this situation came up, I said, that's really a question for the commission. We don't have anything in our guidelines that state that you either can or you cannot. I mean, several people, they put in their opinion as far as what they thought, but this was really a decision of the commission.
well, and I could see one, and then, okay, there was the second one, but now there's the 3rd one. It'll be a 3rd one.
Yeah.
So
My
I'm in
personal
agreement with
opinion.
my colleagues. So, Commissioner Kasperky?
You the banker, so.
Well, then I would say to an additional underwriting guideline is that generally we would not,
Not even consider it.
what's that?
Not even consider it.
We would not consider extending financing to a customer who's already delinquent to the city of Hammond. Fine line is gonna be if they're delinquent to their first mortgage, but we can cross that bridge at another time. But I think in this case, if this is the loophole, delinquent, asking for a 3rd is an easy, in my opinion, I'm sorry, I can't approve that in good faith.
Is that a motion?
I was trying to make that a motion.
Okay.
I second
We'll
that,
take that as a motion.
and I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the emergency loan policy and procedure. Saying no to, if they're delinquent in this case, their first mortgage and an emergency loan as well, so we're not gonna entertain another 3rd loan. Okay, can I have a roll call on that?
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Kasperziki?
Yes,
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Helpridge?
Yes.
I would put it in there.
Motion passes 5 yes.
Yeah, 'cause that's not a loan, that's a gift.
So,
There's 2 sides to her home loan. So there's the payment part and the deferred part. The top one is the payment part for her. She's clerk. So she is up to date. She's paid up to date, so she's not behind. She has 12,000 that she's got to make payments on of $51.96. And then the deferred part is due if she sells or transfers title or whatever.
Within how many years?
She owns it for the rest of her life. Not have to pay it, but she does have to pay this off, and she has paid $4,159.72 so far. She still owes $8,310. So the total loan was 25.
It says payoff balance 12.4 here.
Pardon?
It says payoff balance 12.4.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, well, today.
So you have two sides of this loan, right? The deferred part and the payment part. The first page is the payment. That shows that $12,470.61. She's paid 80 payments, which is just roughly 7.5 years, which coincides with where we're at today, for $4,159.72 with a payoff balance of $83,10.89. So that's your payoff on that. On the deferred part where she wouldn't make payments at all, that would be deferred, it's gonna show the full balance because it's deferred and then forgiven after a period of time, isn't it? It's not just deferred
Given, it's just deferred.
until
They
she's,
have to be paid off if they sell the house or something.
okay.
It's titled.
So she wouldn't have made payments on that one at all? She wasn't obligated to make payments on that one at all? The one she was obligated to make payments on, it appears that she's paying regularly, and there's,
It just shows like the first 4 payments on the sheet. I'd actually have to run something else to show all the payments, so that's why it's saying.
Well, we're gonna assume she's current and on payments. I don't have, that's not,
It would say right here if she was
right,
behind.
the,
so your total payoff is right around $20,700 at this point. If she would sell the house, that's what would come out.
The very last sheet, 10,000, that's not our loan, that's the bank NIP loan. That's money she got extra through the bank, and that part is deferred after 5 years. So, I mean.
it actually says forgiven after 5.
After 5 years, forgive what I meant.
But is that
So
included?
that's not our loan, that's the bank.
But that's not included in the 20,000,
No.
Mr. What you just mentioned.
No, our portion is about $20,700 if she sold tomorrow.
20,000.
All right, for the record, we're moving back to number 7, subordination request approval for Sherry Clark. We're in discussion right now. Thank you for the information too, Karen.
Maybe we could put it in anyways from now on with the subordination agreements.
Well, that puts the loan to value with the first and whatever seconds, or however you want to put it, at 98%. So our position is, unless it actually sold for $112,500, we would not get paid back. Yes, sir.
He wants you to look into the camera.
We're at 98% loan to value right now, with the numbers we have intact. Now, we were in a second position before, I get it. And when it all comes down to it, we are not improving our situation, we're not even keeping our situation equal. We're basically in the same situation no matter what, but in this case, with the cash out refi, we are lessening our position. That's the math. How we handle it, and again, according to the guidelines we have, that would be unacceptable. These guidelines, if adopted, said, subordination request to the commission will not drop back the loan portion beyond the second portion, whether or not the debt to value is 80% or less. I mean, if we adhere to our guidelines, we cannot approve this.
Adhere to our guidelines.
Mr. President, I have, with apologies, it's my position that we at this time cannot approve the subordination request.
Excuse, let's speak up.
Okay, sure,
Is
sir.
this, okay, is this all because of the cash out? Is that what the holdup is? So like if I don't, I need the house refinanced, I really could care less about the cash out part.
But the lender's probably not gonna
Well,
do
yeah.
this for you because you need to cash out to pay your credit
I mean,
cards.
if you came to us and asked for a loan in the amount of let's call it $80,000. You owe the bank 76 right now, and you came to us and said, I'm refinancing so that I can get a lower monthly payment, we wouldn't have a problem. That would not cause us,
So it's the part that they added in for the cash out, whatever, like,
whether it's the amount, whether they're taking some for closing costs, and the Chase card on here for $3,300, and a Chase card for $6,000 that are gonna be paid off. Now, what I'm thinking is the bank said, we'll give you the loan, but you must pay those two things off so that your payment qualifies for the loan.
That's what I think as well.
That's from what it looks like. Yep.
stated like that, though. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Well, I mean, if you.
it's on the paper,
So,
but
so you're saying that they won't refinance my house at a lower rate if I don't?
I have no idea what,
Oh,
I have
that's
no
what I'm
idea what they're
saying. I mean,
doing.
because if I don't want this cash, I just need a lower rate. I've been paying like too much, too long. So, you know, I wanted to get it down to save a little something, you know? So I really right now
And
could care
and
less.
you're actually in a decent position to do that. I mean, you're presently at 6%, 6 1/8, and if you can go down to some version of 4%, that's 2% savings, which could work out certainly to your advantage. But the way it's written up here, where you're asking for a new amount of 90,000, when you only owe the bank 76,000, that puts us out of bounds.
I would just point out the current payment is $812. The remortgaged payment is $786. That's a
Right.
difference of $26 a month. The real savings is going from 360 months to 240 months. So she's electing to go from a 30-year to a 20-year
Right,
mortgage.
which is still a
slash
good
10
thing.
years.
Right.
I mean, it's interest saved over time instead of interest saved immediately, but yes, I mean, I get it, but like I say, if you really want to refinance for the rate and term, as they say, then you tell your bank that you only want to refinance 80,000 or whatever, 75,000, they'll understand.
So I have to start all over again and come back again
Well,
and do this again? Like, I
You
mean,
need to
is
talk
that
to
what
your,
I wanna
you need to
have?
talk to your lender again, yes.
Yeah, my thought was, you need to talk to your lender and say, hey, you know what? The city can't do it the way that it is. We're not unwilling, because I've been here 10 years. We've never not okayed a subordination. We've never even had a discussion this long about a subordination.
Yeah, I did, I thought this was a little odd.
Yeah, it's quite a lot. So, as
But every
Commissioner,
case is by case, though. Every case is by case,
case.
though.
but, and one of the, I'm a real estate, I was way out in Winfield. And I said, I needed to be here because I knew when I saw this in my package, I said, this is a problem. And that's one of the reasons I didn't say, I'm not gonna make it, I'll be late, I'm gonna make it, because I felt I need to be here. This, the way it is, doesn't work. We can't say yes. We wanna help you, and that's what we want you to understand. We want
And
to
you know
help
what, your
you.
lender will understand. If you just tell your lender that you want just a rate and term refinance, what would fit, and I'll bet you he'll know exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, and that's what I'm gonna do, I mean,
Right.
cause I'm gonna get it done, most definitely, I'm gonna get
Right,
it.
no, and like I say, I'm not trying to be the bad guy here, but like I say, this is, it's just math.
Okay.
Yeah, talk to your lender, and they will understand.
Rate and term.
Okay.
That's it.
So we still need to make a
Well,
motion on this.
Got a motion not to approve it,
I
right?
actually did.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second not to approve the subordination request approval for Sherry Clark at 7132 Carolina. Can I have a roll call on that?
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Kasperziki?
Yes?
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Helpert?
Yes. Motion passes 5 yes.
So, Ms. Clark, you know, you need, like I said, well, you need to go back to your lender and have him do something that we can approve, because we wanna approve this for you.
Right.
We just
Well,
can't
I am.
approve it the way it is.
So I'll just see you guys in a couple more months.
Well, ma'am, my concern is, do you understand exactly what their issue is, so that when you go back and you explain it to them, that then the bank knows exactly what the issue is? Because what I would hate for her to do is go back, explain something to them, have her come back, and then we're in the same situation. So I just want to make sure before you leave, you know exactly what their issue is.
It's the extra money,
Cash out.
the cash out.
Right. Cash out would be the number one, the couple of words you should remember, and the other, you would be asking for a rate and term refinance. All you're trying to do is improve your situation as is, with no bells and whistles.
Okay, okay.
And if you forget, we tape this. You can go online, you can go online and review this.
Your payment will be even less, because you're gonna be borrowing less.
Yeah.
Besides the terms, like Attorney Westland said, by shaving it 10 years.
Yeah,
So,
I forgot that I had did that, but yeah, I just, when you retire, you just wanna, I don't wanna be paying on the house. don't wanna
I
be
understand.
doing it. So, okay, I got it. I
Okay.
appreciate you.
All right, thank you. We're gonna move on.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Wow, that's a first.
Okay,
Not the bank guy.
number 9 is an acceptance of requests for proposals for the purchase of real estate at 3300 State Line Road.
So, you only have one. And it's from NIPSCO. We put this out as the entire parcel or per acre, a per acre minimum. And they've bid, they're interested in purchasing 5.2 acres of the 40.417 acres available. They're offering $20,586 per acre, total purchase price of $107,047.20. That's the only submission you have, so
And that's for 5.2 acres out of the,
40.
okay.
Does that fit with the appraised value?
My recollection was that the minimum price was around 13,000 and change per acre. So I know it exceeds what our minimum was. I would still refer it to staff and.
Yeah, Mr. President, I knew we were going there, but
Yeah.
I move we refer to staff regarding 3300 State Line Road.
I second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call on that?
Soto Presley?
Yes.
Kasperziki?
Yes?
Navejas?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Helpert?
Yes. Motion passes 5 yes to remove the staff. Okay, number 10's a public hearing on Commission Resolution number 07-2017. We have a public hearing of an amending declaratory resolution of 7-2017. The 2018 amending declaratory resolution adopted by the Commission on November 21st, 2017, that designated the state line allocation area for the purpose of utilizing tax increment financing to implement the redevelopment plan for the marina development area. The 2018 amending declaratory resolution was approved by the Hammond Plan Commission, resolution number 2017-01 on December 19th, 2017, and by the Common Council resolution number 18R-01 on January 8th, 2018, pursuant to the Indiana Code of 36-7-14-16. I am gonna open,
I would say before you do that, Mr. Bowditch, you may want to just hear a brief word or two from him. Then I'd go ahead and open the public hearing, and then you need to take action on this amended declaratory resolution, as well as the number 11, which you can take right after. But I'd let him have his couple words. If it was Mr. Poland, he would have been up at the podium already, but
Thank you. 2 words.
Mr. Dan Bowditch.
That would make. Good
Please, you
evening,
have the floor.
Commissioners. Good evening, President. Very briefly, and I will keep this as brief as possible. In the introduction, it stated the process that has been, that has occurred up to date, such that the amending declaratory resolution amended the original declaratory resolution to establish and designate an allocation area to be known as the state line allocation area. It has gone through the Plan Commission. It has gone through the Common Council. At that point, the Redevelopment Commission did publish notice in the paper on February 6, 2018 of this evening's public hearing. The commission did cause to have the necessary tax impacts and the tax statements sent to all overlapping tax units, for which I do have the return receipts and the certified mailing receipts for that being done. And the planning and development agencies of the city were also notified of this evening's public hearing. The public hearing is to take input as far as the amended declaratory resolution that you've approved, that has gone through the Plan Commission, that has gone through the council, and that has been published. Upon hearing any input, it is now an evening to consider the confirmatory resolution that has been placed in your packet. In general, all the confirmatory resolution does is state that you followed the necessary progress and the necessary approvals to get to this evening for which you have. And in general, that confirmatory resolution states out everything that was done, the dates it was done and completed, and that you held the public hearing this evening, and you are now confirming that declaratory resolution, formally establishing the state line allocation area. In general, that's a quick overview. More than 2 words, but less than 300.
Very good verbiage, thank you.
okay, so now you want to have your public hearing.
Okay. I'm going to have a public hearing now on this. We're going to open that up. Public hearing is now open. If anybody would like to come forward, you have 3 minutes to speak. You may do so now.
I think this gentleman is supposed to be here for the Plan Commission meeting. I texted Brian right now to have him bring up an agenda, because there's 2 public hearings there.
Okay. That's the other meeting after ours, right?
Ask one question. What are they planning on building there? Doesn't anybody know? The Edison.
Sir, it's at the next meeting at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's at the next, the questions that you want will be at the
What?
next meeting.
The next meeting starts at 6 o'clock, and that's the one that you have questions for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
'Cause I hear a lot of talk about it. That's like a place you can't get in and out. No way. The 99th Street is a low bridge. The piggybacks, you can't disturb them. They're coming from the east. It's all loaded with trains.
They'll be here, there'll be a whole new commission up here to answer your questions,
Okay.
okay, at 6 o'clock. It's just a few minutes.
That's not on the agenda for the Plan Commission.
I told him to bring it up, Brian, because I don't know what's on the agenda. I just texted him, I said, do you have 2 public hearings? And he said, yeah. So I
But there's no public hearing on state line. Okay. Someone needs to talk to him.
I'll talk to him. Tell Brian to come up and talk to him.
Okay, is there any else that would like to speak? Okay, public hearing closed.
So we need to make a motion
You need to make
Yes.
it-
On 11.
on 10 and 11 or just 11?
Well, we're just gonna do 10 for now, right, and then 11?
10 was just a public hearing.
Probably, okay.
11 is the confirmatory resolution.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the,
Well, let me read,
okay.
That's the motion for number 11, right? We're
Right.
gonna need, so, all right, I'll get to that. Let me read number 11, then you can. Okay, number 11 is a confirmatory resolution 01-2018. That's consideration of resolution confirming amending declaratory resolution 7-2017 on a 2018 amending declaratory resolution adopted by the Commission on November 21st, 2017, that designated the state line allocation area for the purpose of utilizing tax increment financing to implement the redevelopment plan for the Marina Development Area. Now you can entertain a motion.
All right, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the confirmatory resolution 01-2018.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the confirmatory resolution 01-2018. Is there any further questions or discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Soto Prese,
Yes.
Kasperziki,
Yes.
Navejas,
Yes.
Myrick,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes, motion passes 5 yes. Okay, number 12 is an authorization to advertise for a second district local street project, Oakley Avenue improvements.
Members of the commission, if you look in your package, you will see a notice to bidders for street work, for improvements that will be done to, or that are being proposed for Oakley Avenue, which will include decorative lighting, concrete sidewalks, a ramp replacement, curb and gutter, and pavement replacement, street signage replacement, pavement stripping and all restoration. This will be paid for, it's a joint partnership between Redevelopment as well as the second district councilman will also be contributing to the project. And they're planning the start date of July 5th, 2018. So today, we're just coming before you for permission to advertise for bidders because of the scope of the work.
What was that projected date again? July what?
July 5th, 2018.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. President, I move to authorize to advertise for Second District Local Street Project Oakley Avenue improvements.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the authorization to advertise for second district local street project, Oakley Avenue improvements. That's a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call on that?
Soto Prese,
Yes.
Kasperziki,
Yes.
Navejas.
Yes.
Myrick,
Yes.
Hubbard.
Yes, motion passes 5 yes. Okay, number 13 is authorization for Dennis Radowski to sign documents on behalf of the Hammond Redevelopment for the sale of NSP properties at Paris View Properties.
Members of the commission, if you look in your package, you'll see that there's a letter signed by me giving Dennis Radowski, Executive Director of United Neighborhoods, Inc., the authorization to sign documents on behalf of the City of Hammond's Redevelopment Commission for NSP properties related to the City of Hammond Neighborhood Stabilization Program and Program Affordability Assistance Allowance. It's my understanding that he's previously had this authorization, but so I wanted to present it again before you to see if he could continue his authorization.
That is correct.
Mr. President, I make a motion for the authorization for Dennis C. Radowski to sign documents on behalf of Hammond Redevelopment for the sale of NSP properties and Parish View properties.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the authorization for Dennis C. Radowski to sign documents on behalf of the Hammond Redevelopment for the sale of NSP properties and Parish View properties. Can we have a roll call, please?
Senator Presley?
Yes.
Kasperziki?
Yes.
Naveja?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes. Motion passes, 5 yes. All right, number 14, reports. Ms. Tarver, would you like to share anything tonight?
Yes, a couple of the upcoming events that we have with the Department of Planning and Development is the 32nd Annual Disabilities Awards Breakfast and Resource Fair. The event will be held on March 15th at 8 a.m. at the Dynasty Banquet Hall. And every year we actually have more and more people that come every year. It's a very worthwhile event, so if you're interested in attending, please let me know, and I'll make sure that you get tickets to the event. It is a free event. Also, in March, we have the 15th Annual Job Fair with the City of Hammond, which will be March 22nd from 11 to 3 p.m. at the Hammond Civic Center. So every year, this event gets larger as well. We have more companies that are participating. We have more people attending. We average about 1,000 people at the job fair. And it's also a partnership with Work One. So we do a really good job of pairing job seekers with the available jobs within the area.
Very good. I'm going to pass that information on to some people that are really looking for work right now.
Thank you.
All right, number 15, our bills, register of claims.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to pay the register of claims for register February 2nd, 2018 through February 15, 2018, register of claims R55716 through R55776.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the register of claims dating February 2nd, 2018 through February 15th, 2018. That's claims R55716 through claim R55776. Is there any discussion or questions on these claims? Okay, roll call, please.
Senator Presley?
Yes.
Kasperziki?
Yes.
Naveja?
Yes.
Myrick?
Yes.
Hubbard?
Yes, motion passes, 5 yes. Okay, number 16's new and unfinished business.
None at this time.
Okay, there's none tonight on that. Number 17's public comment. If anybody would like to come forward, you got 3 minutes. We have Mr. Bowditch again.
Good evening, Dan Bowditch, SCH of Indiana, Economic Development Consultant. I wanted to take less than 3 minutes just to generally say thank you to Africa Tarver and the Department of Planning and Development. On Friday, February 13th, the department held a team building retreat session for which I was invited to be a part of that, along with a number of other consultants that all have, in some instances, are a competitor of ours, but we all have the best interest of Hammond in mind. And I do want to say that it was a wonderful event at the Challenger Learning Center. A lot of team building and putting a mission from the earth to the moon, and understanding what the Challenger Center does for the students in Hammond as well as the region and some portions of Illinois that come to the city of Hammond. So the goal was not only to identify an asset in Hammond for the purpose so that we can get the word out about the Challenger Center. I would like to bring SCH of Indiana to do that same event if possible, but also to work together as a team, and just so that you know, we did put a lunar module on the moon. So thank you very much. It was a great opportunity, and I wish I could do that every year just to reinforce the skills that are necessary to communicate between each other and to make sure we all understand where we're coming from. And I know Karen was there also. So it was a wonderful event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate all the work you do for the city of Hammond and for our department.
Well said, thank you. Okay, No one else like to come forward and speak? Public comment is closed. Number 18.
Mr. President, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Can you all signify by aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned.